Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Kelly. Welcome to Being the Change. I'm going to get started by reciting my inspiration. Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, which most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people will not feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us. It is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson. I'd like to say welcome to everybody who's watching me for the first time, and welcome back, and thank you to everyone who's been following me on this journey. I said in 2019 as my New Year's resolution that I was breaking up with fear, I was breaking up with shame, and I was breaking up with guilt. And I was going to do a weekly video for an entire year, and it's going on almost 2 years, and I'm still doing it. So thank you to everybody who has been so supportive of this. And, I was thinking last week I was talking about all the gifts that I've received through the course of my life, and most of them, the gifts that I have been given, have been through the most painful, excruciating experiences of my life. And every time that I think I'm in the worst possible condition, something magical comes out of that. And I feel like right now that we are in this pandemic, and this is not an easy time for anybody. And what is happening is we are dying a death of our old way of life. And we are going to be birthing a new way of living. And, I've died a couple of deaths in my lifetime. And one of them was the death of my old life when I stopped drinking. When I stopped drinking alcohol and doing drugs, I was brought to a new way of life, which I never knew was possible and could be possible. And then I died another death after I got divorced. It was, like a rebirth of welcoming myself back to myself, like coming home to myself. So that was like a second death in my lifetime. And then now we're in this pandemic, which is another one. So Actually, the other one was last year when I was in an accident, and it was the death of my career and my old way of life. And what I used to do for my job was I was a hair colorist and a hairdresser, and I was on my feet all day. And I can't do that anymore. So I died the death of who I used to be, or not who I used to be, what I used to do. So I've been shown a way, and it happened a couple months before this pandemic started. So when a lot of people lost their jobs in the beginning of the pandemic, secretly I was relieved that there were other people going through what I was going through. And that, not that I wanted to see people be in pain, but it was nice to know that I wasn't the only one. And I think with these videos, what I'm trying to do and what I want people to understand and know is, like, you're not the only one. And you're not the only one going through this. Like, we are all going through this together. And how everybody experiences it is different. But so that's what's going on, is we are being shown a different way of life, and it's scary. And the process of losing things is a lot harder than it is the fear of the unknown is worse than actually the fear of what is. So just the unknowing, the uncertainty is a lot harder to deal with than actually what is going to happen. And so I feel like it's hard for me to explain this, but I know what's going on, and we are grieving. We are grieving. And, I'm in something on Zoom that I get to see people from around the world, and all the countries are going through this. But the stages of grief, the first stage of grief is denial. Denying that things are happening. So if you are denying things are happening, you're in the first stage of grief. And the second stage of grief is anger, and you're pissed and you're mad. And that's the second stage of grieving. And then there's like a sadness. So like we are all grieving together, but not everybody's in the same stage at the same time, which is great because we need people who are a little bit ahead, but they don't have to be doing it for longer. The people who are closer to the pain, closer to your pain, have more understanding and more empathy and more compassion. So whatever road you're on, you just need to be a little bit further ahead than the person who's coming up behind you. So that's what I wanted to talk about too, is just like experience. Like you don't need a ton or a shit ton of experience to start something new. And when you start something new, you're totally vulnerable, you're totally open, which is great. It's how we learn. And then somebody comes in after you and suddenly you're the experienced person. So like I love beginners. I love people that are starting new or just starting on their journey because they're just open, and the vulnerability is such a beautiful thing to witness. And anybody who wants to take advantage of you when you are at your most vulnerable, they are not well people, and they're not people that are going to be able to help you. That is all. It doesn't mean you're not meant to do this or you're not meant to do things. It just means maybe they're not the right people for you and you should find someone else to talk to or to get help from. So thank you to everybody who's watching. I so appreciate it. Please stay tuned, stay safe, and I will see you all next week. Thanks for watching.